What do you do when life hits you hard, but your business still needs you? In this video today, I'm going to directly answer that question, and we're also going to pull some questions from the Q&A in my online community, WKNDR Collective, as that seemed to be the theme of everybody's week this week, including my own, as I had family in town. I got a cold, and I lost my voice yesterday, tried to film this video, and today I got a pink eye in my right eye. Like, Jesus, Jones, what's going on? But before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this channel and also give this video a like if we create value. And if you're also interested in joining WKNDR Collective, you can check for that information in the description box below. So let's get started. What happened this past week? It seemed like everybody was getting tested on, are we going to follow our inner voice, or are we going to fold to kind of like everything that reality wants us to do, right? And that's personally what I felt. And after communicating with some people in the online community WKNDR Collective, we kind of had that same feeling. And I think to just start off here generally, I want to give you advice and knowledge right away here. Is like I just said, no matter what, you need to trust that inner guide and that inner voice. It is always right, as long as it's not coming in super fast and all over the place. If it's nice and slow and consistent, it is guiding you. But I think what our tendency as a whole to do is to silence that voice and push it to the side and be like, what would everybody around me want me to do right now? Like, work's going to need me, so I got to show up there. Those clients are going to be very let down if I don't do that. Or, we just put in everybody else's like perspectives on top of our own to like really diffuse our situation and just push ourselves. And that's what we end up doing, is just endlessly pushing ourselves, when in fact, the best thing we can do is rest and take time away, step away, still be present, do the minimum that we might need to in order to maintain it, but take that time, step back, and really just take a break. Because you got to think, and I learned this from burning out the last couple of years, was I needed a time off, I needed to take a break, I had grief, I had a ton of stuff pop up, and I just kept distracting myself by doing more and more in business. And instead of like sitting with that grief, sitting with that pain, sitting with that hardship, by bypassing it, my energy was consistently decreasing, and as it decreased, then I endlessly kept burning out. And I'm like, why am I keep burning out? It's because I wasn't taking time to sit off. Because when I take time and rest, if I'm at 70%, I can get back near 100%. But if I don't rest and take time and address those emotions and all the things that I need to process, it continually drains my energy because I'm suppressing it instead of putting my energy outward into reality, or even like not taking the time to go inward, process it to come back into reality. You know what I mean? So let's get to specific questions here, because these are really good examples. And what I want to do is pull from these and really just like anchor in these thoughts. So the first question is, right now I'm needing advice on how to push through focusing on business and posting content when it feels insensitive to do, or to my grief to do so. I lost a friend this weekend, and it didn't feel right to participate in the content challenge immediately after. 100%. I 100% agree with that. Is it okay to take a break and step back and regroup? Yes, 100%, 1000%. Always take a step back and regroup before you try to even move forward or do anything new sometimes. Do you push through thoughts? No, I would not push through. And there's a second part to this, but I really want to answer this. Is no, I would not push through, because number one, this is a huge life event. Like having a friend, having anybody pass away, like it stinks, it sucks. And what we tend to do is what I explained earlier in this video, we avoid it, we push it down, we suppress it, and we do about 1,000 other things that drain our energy. And before you know it, like we can't figure out why we're tired, why we feel off, what's going on. We're not creative anymore. We just get stuck, right? Versus what I've learned is like sit with it, feel it. You don't have to just like submerge yourself in it. That's also just as bad as the other list I wrote, but like feel it, process it, understand your feelings, understand your emotions, understand, what you feel, and honor yourself and understand that it's okay. And what I'm pulling up here is called the Kubler-Ross stages of grief. When I learned it in nursing school, it was death and dying for hospice. But essentially, there's this really cool model that I want to share with you too. And this is what I shared with that person of WKNDR Collective was, there's 5 stages of any major life-changing event that happens. And it goes denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And there's feelings that you feel under those. So I went ahead and sent this to her and was just like, understand this is the process, number one. And I said to Trevor Hall, you can't rush your healing. Like, it's all about feeling, not rushing your healing. And this 5-step process essentially outlines the curve of emotions we go through any life change. And what I really shared with her, and that I really want to share with anybody watching this video, is like, these changes in life are inevitable. It's how we respond that truly matters. And if you know this Kubler-Ross model, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance, you can, number one, validate and honor your own emotions, which is key, so key to moving forward. And then from there, I told her she was also an artist and a creative. She does photography and spiritual work and like bone readings and tarots. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool if you paid homage or memory to your friends through your artistic work to really create something memorable towards your friend, and then also just to put something out there in the world? I think, that's so unique. And it also allows you, here's the cool part, and what I understand from psychology and nursing is it allows you to validate, it allows you to process, and it allows you to move forward while also doing something you love for someone you love, which is, I think, a big key to like clearing that. Let's go back to the rest of that question too. This is really cool too, or really insightful. Of what she said was, I'm keeping my appointments for photography clients. I was like, I agreed with that. If she felt it, I could honor that too, because like I said, it's okay to feel it, but not to sit in it and sink in it and be just submerged in it, but to feel it, sit with it, also take time, step away, and do some things to keep or maintain your business, right? Especially if it's busy season as a freelancer, that can get real tricky of like, am I giving myself enough? And that's what you got to feel on the inside. And that's something that I can't guide you on. That's something that, everybody has to guide themselves on. And because she said, and then especially for my spiritual practices, as I haven't posted. Oh yeah. So she's keeping her appointments to her clients, but doesn't feel right to post at the moment for some reason, especially for my spiritual practices, as I haven't posted in a long time. It seems like poor timing. I mean, she said it like right there. It doesn't feel right. And if it doesn't feel right, trust that feeling 100% of the time. And it doesn't matter if it's my scenario, your scenario, or your scenario, or your scenario. Like, trust your feelings. Those voices in our head aren't lies unless they're coming in really fast and they're all over the place and we really can't keep up with them. Unless you've been told the same message time and time again. Sometimes my intuition will get louder. It'll get more frequent, but it still doesn't come in like ruminating thoughts that are all over the place. And I'm just like, who are these and why are they in my reality? Like, that's what I always say is not an intuitive thought. So, and then, I'd say even to throw in my own circumstances there, it's like yesterday I tried to film this video in comparison to this, and I was like, I tried to, after several takes, I was like, it's not the day. I was losing my voice more. I was starting to cough. It was cloudy outside. We had terrible lighting. Like, there were so many circumstances, and I was just like, okay, I tried, and I didn't feel better. And then I ended up actually going in and getting a very light workout just to get stuff circulating. I did the sauna and the cold plunge because that is what my intuition was telling me. And as much as I want to work on business stuff, I didn't. And it felt great. And I took the day off. And then I was able to approach today and be like, let's go. And I couldn't even formulate thoughts like this. Like, I was trying to talk to the camera, answer the questions, and be in several spots, which I do very well. But yesterday I couldn't. So, always take the signs of your own life, your own reality, and your own baseline to understand what you can and can't do, right? And if you start doing something and then it starts to feel off, like, you can always pull back and be like, nope, I'm rushing it. And as soon as you identify that, and the more you can connect to that inner voice, the more it'll help you move forward, and it'll continue to guide you even more. Hopefully that's not too woo-woo, but honestly, that is a big trick of mine. Second question here. This one was very relatable for me as well, and hopefully it's relatable to you watching this video, is I had so much fun doing a challenge this weekend. We did a post every day for 7 days in a row to give you guys context on what they're talking about. And I'm so sad work took up all my time since we were short-staffed. I totally understand this and sent her a message that I was like, I know what's happening here, which we'll get to in a second. I like the idea of trying it for 30 days. Yes, definitely. You gotta keep that momentum going. It just always comes to a part when my job can't handle themselves, when they need to, and I have to step up. Or just always comes to this part when my job can't handle themselves, when they need to, and I have to step up. So essentially, she needs to work because they're short-staffed. How do you handle all the chores at home with all your business endeavors? So multiple part question here. I center one on the first one is number one, what I see in my own reality so many times is when I step into a challenge, when I do something new, when I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, the universe, or I change a bad habit or something, the universe just comes in and is like, here's a little shiny object. Do you want to grab it? And I'm like, I've fallen for that many times. No, no, no. So what tends to happen here, and what I felt with this initially, and I responded back to this, was when we start to double down on ourselves, the universe will test us to see if we're going to shift our focus back to other people. Because number one, she's in the service industry. And what people in the service industry are so good at is taking care of other people before themselves. And I can say that because I was a nurse, and as many times as I was sick as a nurse, guess who still showed up to work to take care of the even sicker people? Me. But people in the service industry, this is the greatest gift and curse, is they care so much and have been taught to care for so much of people around them that they neglect themselves. And in a sense here, she, in completing the challenge and posting and stuff, she didn't neglect herself. She focused on herself. But at the time that work absolutely needed her and going into work, like that can be tricky, right? Because they're like, we really need your help. And you're like, but I'm focusing on something, or I'm trying to grow something. And it can get a little sticky, and it's hard. And there's so many times I've been through similar situations of this that I've learned from. But what I've learned as a whole that I want to share to everybody watching this video is exactly that. When you choose to do something that's different, you'll have to go through this test of, are you going to fold or are you going to hold the pose? And that's what I like to say is, think of yoga like hold the freaking pose is what I got from this book. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like whenever you do something new, hold the pose. You'll be tested. The wind will blow. It'll start raining. All these things will happen, but hold the pose. And that's what I would share. But to this too, this is really a great scenario I'd like to even add a little bit more to is, people who are in the service industry and have this shadow of people pleasing isn't a bad thing. It's truly a freaking gift if you think about it, because they tend to be the best entrepreneurs once they get through the shadow, because they care so much and want to create an experience for people that it connects them to their greatest success as soon as they can set some strong boundaries and understand when to care for self and when to care for others. Because now that people pleasing gets integrated into this just immaculate service that truly honors people and pays attention to those fine details that everybody overlooks, and makes the people going through that experience feel like they're 100% supported and cared for, which is something luxurious and you can charge a lot for. And not only that, people will just rave about it and give you 5-star reviews and continue to grow. And even if you throw in a little bit of zodiac here, the two people-pleasing signs, Libras and Pisces, are the highest number of billionaires in the world. I mean, I wonder why. I just told you why, right? But I mean, that's a really, really good aspect to learn there. It's like, number one, integrate your shadow. No matter what your shadow is, it's your greatest attraction and marketing piece in business. The greatest entrepreneurs have all integrated their shadows, and they make millions, if not billions of dollars from it. And what you have to do is understand your shadow. Number one, look at it and be like, okay, I do that. Number two, start to work on how to shift it, where we put ourselves first and then allow the other stuff to work behind it, right? That might feel selfish to somebody in this situation. And if it feels selfish, you're in the right place of changing it. And then from there, once we work through it, then we have to hold up that defense of it a little bit to continue to pass that test. And then before you know it, now we're putting ourselves first, still caring for others and doing what we can, but we won't do what they need first. We do what we need first, Now to handle the second part of this question is, how do you also handle all your chores at home with your business endeavors? I feel swamped all the time. Whew, this one really hit home, because as she sent that, my apartment was a mess from doing business stuff. I had my family reunion and I was sick, and I'm like, and what tends to happen in my life, and I shared this in a message, was when I get busy, and creative, and I really focus on projects, what I will see is my apartment will get messy and things just are all over the place. Like my laundry's backed up, there's dishes in the sink, And it's sometimes the sacrifice I make to really truly focus on just zeroing in on something and just going into this tunnel and flow state when the energy's there. I love that energy, and I think that's a very important process of mine, right? But then what I tend to do is on occasion, and that's like a very minute, that's kind of like war mode, which is where nothing else exists except for what I'm trying to accomplish. But war mode isn't sustainable. It's a small section that you can live in. So when I'm not in war mode, what I do and what I shared is like I create a routine that balances my life. I have Libra in my midheaven at 29 degrees if you're in the zodiac. So balance is a huge part of life. So what I do is every day I have a very structured but loose routine, if that makes sense. So what I do is I wake up at about the same time every day with no alarm. I go for a walk in the morning. I start work, and then I do deep work alone in the morning. I go to the gym in the afternoon, and then I collaborate with others, work on stuff like, and then in the evenings before after I cook dinner and before I go to bed, I'll, clean up my countertops. I'll do the dishes in the sink. I'll do my laundry if there's laundry. But what I'm getting at is every day I make sure I do a little bit of everything so that it doesn't stack up as bad. And if I choose to go into war mode, then we can recover it quickly. But then on the side too, it's very overwhelming, especially if you're creative, to have a messy place, because a messy place is a messy mind and your thoughts are all over the place. And then if you're doing too much too, you're scattered. So how do you, and what is inevitable is entropy. I'm looking for something to show you what entropy is, but it's like, if we don't pay it attention and maintain it, it naturally destroys and destructs, right? That's why even businesses, relationships, cleaning and focusing on our living spaces, we endlessly have to provide maintenance to it, otherwise they fall apart. That's entropy. So what I do and what I've found out is it's easier just to do a little bit every day and build a routine, because instead of working on stuff or watching Netflix or whatever I'm doing, I do enjoy cleaning and it's instant gratification. So doing a little bit of that every day is very peaceful to me, and it's very I think it feels enjoyable to sit in my apartment when it's clean, nice, and smells fresh. So what I've learned to do is just a little bit every day to really take those bits and pieces and maintain it. And if it gets a little out of hand, that's okay. So then on a weekend when I got some time, instead of spending multiple hours cleaning, 3 or 4 or 5, I'm just all right, let's take an hour or two and just really deep clean everything so we can get a fresh start for the week and we can really just sit in this clean place, So long story short there, long story short, whatever the wording is there is, so what you need to do is just build systems. So number 1, focus on yourself first and then help others second. The oxygen mask on a plane. You can't help others until you put on your mask first, otherwise you'll pass out along with everybody else. So balance yourself, then help others, or give yourself the care first, then care for others. And then second, just do a little bit every day, let go of perfection, and just create a line of excellence. And if you do a little bit every day, you don't have to do a lot all at once. And if you choose to do a lot all at once every now and then, that's okay too. So overall, and then I think this is a good time to wrap up this video and say, just overall, these are great questions, and these are things that I endlessly struggled with early on in entrepreneurship and being a freelancer, because I was I did all my work at once and I didn't maintain any other aspect of my life, singularity of focus and its toxicity. I, would put all my clients' needs before my own and would endlessly burn out, be sick, and just feel awful and not know why, and not be 100% to give myself back to the things that bring me joy and bring me money and abundance and fulfillment, right? So overall, focus on yourself, listen to that inner voice, make sure your needs are covered first, then provide needs to others, and make sure you do a little bit every day to balance your life. Balance is key, but in exponential growth phases, I think I've gotten this from Daniel Dalen or people around him, is balance is not the way to grow quickly. Obsession and really just locking in on stuff is, but you can only sustain it for so long. And if you know that sustainability can only last for so long, then you got to figure out a system and a process that works for you to rebalance you once you get out of that sprint. And that's kind of what you got to think about it is as sprints instead of a marathon. But as an entrepreneur, as a creative, as somebody who's trying to do their own thing, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. There are parts where we can sprint, whether it be uphill or downhill, but we still have to go back to running the marathon. So always remember that you're running a marathon, so treat it like one. So guys, thank you so much for these questions. Hopefully these answers helped you. And if you're not in Weekender Collective and you'd like to get in it, I would love to have a call with you and give you more information so that we can get you in the collective, because these people are changing my life and I'm changing their lives, and it's the coolest place to be if you're trying to live a passion-filled life, escape your 9-to-5, and create a life that's truly worth living that you can monetize along the way. Thank you guys. Peace out and have a good day.